Hello! This video will be about what a thesis is and how to construct a strong one. Thesis sounds like a pretty mystical word. What exactly is a thesis? A thesis is your argument or focus in a paper. It sets the direction your paper goes, acting as a roadmap. If your thesis is about your opinion on the various flavors of ice cream, you follow it and discuss ice cream rather than ice cream, pie, and cookies. If your thesis is about a key lesson you learned in your life, you don't want to get sidetracked and stop talking about the lesson. Without a thesis, your paper can lack an argument or point, or lose clarity and focus. A paper that has too many unrelated ideas sprinkled throughout can leave the reader confused about what the main point is. For example, let's say the thesis is, American zombie shows on television have become unoriginal due to the overabundance of them, along with their tendency to copy one another. Good things to talk about for a thesis like this are, how many zombie shows are there? How does this make them unoriginal? What are some examples of zombie shows that copied one another? For someone interested in this topic, they'd follow all of those topics well and you'd prove your argument through them. But what if you got off topic and started talking about how cowboy movies are like this, and how you hated this one cowboy movie that came out last year and you fell asleep during it, so the usher in the theater had to wake you up and you were embarrassed? At this point, you're no longer making a strong argument for your opinion. A thesis should be very specific. If a thesis is vague, not only will you have trouble meeting page requirements, but your claim becomes unclear. If you say, soccer affects cultures, the reader is going to think, what cultures does it affect? How does it affect culture? I don't really quite understand. Here's an example of how to specify your own thesis. When you're writing a thesis, try to ask yourself as many questions as possible as if you were an outside reader. Let's say I want to write about dogs. Here's my first thesis. Chihuahuas are cool. Does this leave questions in mind? How are they cool? In what way? Words like cool, evil, good, and bad aren't solid words and can be interpreted differently by everyone. So let's say I say Chihuahuas make good pets. Now we're getting somewhere. Who are they good pets for? Okay, let's say I say Chihuahuas make good pets for those who live in apartments. This is becoming much more specific now. So how are they good apartment dogs? Chihuahuas make good pets for those who live in apartments due to their lazy disposition, ease of training, and small size. This thesis now is a specific claim that can be expanded throughout the essay. At this point, you can clarify all the ways a lazy disposition makes Chihuahuas a good apartment pet. You can say that they sleep all day, so they don't need a lot of space. You can say they enjoy low-energy activities like cuddling on the couch. Then you can expand all the other ideas as well. Another thing that makes a good thesis is being unique. Getting more specific alone helps you craft a unique thesis due to the details you came up with. But the more specific you get, the more your thesis will reflect your own unique ideas. Never be afraid to think outside the box as long as you're answering the prompt. If everyone else is writing about how you should go to college, but you think it's more complicated than that, you should explain that. This is where you can use a mixed thesis that's not just black and white. Instead of just saying, college is good for a better life, you can always say, although college has many benefits, such as more job opportunities and a higher salary, students should be able to take student loan debt and the job market into consideration before making the choice of attending. Another thing to keep in mind is that theses should be arguable. They shouldn't be questions or facts. If your thesis is, the ocean is made out of salt water, there's nothing really to argue or expand on. There's no right or wrong opinion when it comes to a thesis. In fact, back to the Chihuahua thesis, someone could come up with the complete opposite thesis that I just wrote. They could say, Chihuahuas are horrible apartment dogs because they're loud, aggressive, and clingy. And then they could back up their opinion. The last thing I have to add about theses is that they do sometimes evolve throughout the writing process. It's okay to change your ideas as you come up with more information. While you do research or begin to write out ideas, sometimes it's okay to tweak them a little to fit. For example, if you're claiming that gun control laws are bad for reasons A, B, and C, but then throughout research you realize it's more complicated than that and there are a few positives that you do agree with, you can put that all together. To review, you should have one clear thesis that you don't ever stray from in your paper. Your thesis should be specific, clear, arguable, and unique. My name's Angela and I work in the Writing Center at SPSCC, and I'm the embedded tutor for this class. If you have any questions or concerns after watching this video, feel free to message me on Canvas or leave any comments in any discussion posts. Good luck!